Welcome to the Idaho REALTORS Podcast, our association's podcast for membership, education, and outreach. I'm the IR Communications Director Nick Stout, and I'll be your host for this week. On today's episode, I meet with Idaho Real Estate Commission's Executive Officer, MiChell Bird, to discuss some education tips and common industry mistakes that IREC is responding to right now. We will also have some information about our upcoming Wednesday webinar and the Idaho REALTORS Scholarship. Thank you for joining us, and don't forget to visit our website, idahorealtors.com, for more information. Also, if you haven't done so, remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Hi, welcome to the Idaho REALTORS Podcast. I am Nick Stout, the Idaho REALTORS Communications Director, and today I am sitting down with the Idaho Real Estate Commission Executive Director, MiChell Bird. MiChell, thanks for joining us this week.
Thanks, Nick. I'm so happy to be with you today.
So we just had a couple of questions that we wanted to ask you and just kind of run through and stuff and just kind of see what our members need to know about the Real Estate Commission and just kind of, some common issues that are coming up that we can help them resolve. So I really appreciate taking the time to talk to us today.
I'm happy to do it.
Can you just kind of tell us a little bit about your work with IREC specifically?
Sure. I started with IREC in 2009 as the education director. I was born and raised in Idaho, so I've worked for the state for my entire career. I made the logical jump from Idaho State Police as a forensic chemist to the Real Estate Commission. Makes total sense, right?
Tracks for me.
Yeah, totally. But I joined Real Estate Commission in 2009, and then in 2016, I became the executive director of the commission. And during that time, I have learned the value of working with the industry. The industry are absolutely the experts in real estate, and every time that we get to interact with the industry, we learn a lot about how we should be regulating and what right regulation looks like for real estate.
So, part of my interest in talking to you today is I kind of want to help us connect the dots of, issues that realtors are having with IREC that they can help rectify and stuff. So my first question is, are you seeing any common mistakes that realtors make when they're applying for their CE credits?
Absolutely. We have three that we see all the time, and they seem pretty simple to us, but it's a common occurrence. So the top three that we see are that people mistake the Code of Ethics class for our Commission Core classes. And Commission Core is a required class, or 2 Commission Cores are required for every license renewal. But Code of Ethics is not required for your license renewal, only required for your realtor membership. So they mistake Code of Ethics for Core. The second thing that we see is that Core is unique to the year. So like every year we have a new core, right, and people take the same core twice. And you can only get credit for core one time.
Right.
So instead of taking 2 unique core classes, they will take the same core twice. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem. And then the third thing that unfortunately we're seeing quite a bit is brand new agents are required to take a post-license course instead of electives for their first renewal. And often they're taking electives plus the core classes instead of the post-license that they're required to take.
Okay. So kind of in that same licensing realm, what are some common mistakes that realtors are making when they renew their licenses?
So 2 things. First of all, if you renew early, which we love when they renew early, obviously, but you have to have your continuing education completed before you renew.
Right.
Although you have the entire license period to take your core or to take your continuing education, if you renew early, you are attesting that you have already completed all of that education. Mm-hmm. So let's say someone renews a month early and they think, I still have another month to take my continuing education. When you renew, you're saying that you have completed all of that, even though it's a month early. Mm-hmm. So that's a problem that we run into quite a bit. The other thing is, if you happen to renew late, you will become inactive. And then if you renew, even if it's only an hour late, you renew on inactive status. And a lot of times people don't realize that they have been put on inactive status. And in order to become active again, you have to have your broker reactivate you. Mm-hmm. And so we often see where someone renews 30 minutes late, doesn't think about it, and then finds out a week later that they've been inactive for a week, which is a problem.
Yeah. What is the most common mistake licensees make that IREC's hearing about?
Well, I have a few.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'd rather get it all out there.
Let me give you a few. So the two that are the most common problems that we see are not completing the continuing education that's required for renewal, and not renewing their errors and omissions insurance on time. Unfortunately, those are really simple things that can be prevented, simple mistakes that can be prevented, but 60% of our civil penalty fines come from continuing education violations and errors and omissions insurance that's renewed late. Mm-hmm. And that's really unfortunate. So the other things that we hear about are advertising violations,
right,
that people aren't using their full licensed brokerage names in the advertisements. If you have an LLC on your DBA or your licensed business name, you need to include that as well. Mm-hmm. The other thing that we hear all the time right now is failure to communicate with clients, with customers, with cooperating brokers and other agents. Mm-hmm. And we get a lot of, just kind of disrespect by not communicating complaints. And so communication a lot of times will help agents get ahead of problems even before they start. So we hear that. The other thing that is a little concerning, or a lot concerning, is we have several complaints that we have electronic forgery going on, which seems crazy, but I think a lot of times agents will think that they are helping their clients, or it's a service to their clients by, completing an electronic signature, but that is actually considered forgery. Mm-hmm. Unless the agents have a power of attorney, they are not allowed in any way to sign for their clients.
Right. Well, forgery is not really one of those big, scary laws that people are used to breaking all the time.
No. And I think it feels really different whether you're, just clicking a button on an electronic signature versus a wet pen and, ink signature.
Yeah.
And so I think people don't realize that that's actually a forgery, but we've seen a lot of that recently.
It can make everything a whole lot worse.
Oh, it certainly could.
Yeah. Do you know a student who qualifies for the Idaho REALTORS Scholarship? Idaho REALTORS is awarding 1 $2,500 scholarship and 5 $1,500 scholarships to qualified applicants. To be eligible to apply, applicants must be a high school senior or a full-time student with 12 plus credits enrolled in a college, university, or equivalent full-time vocational technical school for the 2022-2023 school year. Preferences will be given to students who are studying real estate or a related field, attending colleges and universities within the state of Idaho, past or present employees of a realtor office or affiliate business, family members of affiliates or realtors that are active members of Idaho Realtors. Family members of current IR Scholarship Committee members will not be eligible for the scholarship during the accepted period. For more information about the IR Scholarship, visit idahorealtors.com/IR Scholarships. Again, that's idahorealtors.com/IR Scholarships. Have you signed up for the next Idaho Realtors Wednesday webinar? The next Idaho Realtors Wednesday webinar is going to be just around the corner. Join us at 1 p.m. on Wednesday, June 15th for an Idaho Real Estate Commission update from MiChell Bird, IREC's Executive Officer. We really appreciate talking to MiChell on today's episode, and we look forward to hearing all that she has to share for our next Wednesday webinar next week. Register today and reserve your space for this great event. Again, that's our Idaho Realtors Wednesday webinar with MiChell Bird on June 15th at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Alrighty. Are there any new education updates or requirements that you feel like sharing with our members right now?
Sure. We have Core 2022 coming out July 1st, and that core includes the normal case law, legislative update, We have a brand new advertising guideline that will be covered in that core class, and a section on water rights.
Oh, wow.
Which has actually turned out really great. I'm excited. Of course, as you know, water is gold in Idaho. So.
Right.
So we're excited for that to come out on July 1st. The other thing that we have been working on is the real estate law handbook has been revised, and the curriculum was revised. So anyone that's getting ready to start working on a broker license, there's a brand new real estate law class. Or if you're just a kind of a law nerd, real estate law nerd, and you want to take the class, it's going to be a really exceptional class, and that should be coming out anytime now.
That sounds very exciting. So are there any upcoming dates or deadlines that members should be aware of? I know you mentioned, the class coming out in July, but is there anything else that, we should make sure our members know about coming up?
The most important thing coming up is October 1st is the deadline, or prior to October 1st is the deadline to renew your errors and omissions insurance if you carry the group policy with Rice Insurance Company. As I talked before, late renewal of errors and omissions insurance is a huge problem that can be prevented, and you can renew that group policy anytime before October 1st.
Awesome. What can you tell our members about IREC's move to Chinden?
Well, it's coming up. June 22nd, we are going to move to the Chinden campus. We are moving with all 48 boards that have been combined within the Division of Occupational Licenses. And we are going to have the entire first floor of Building 4, which is on the west side of the campus that you'd enter off of Cloverdale. And we're so excited. We've got 3 beautiful boardrooms set up there and 1 really great training room. So we hope everybody comes to visit us, see our new facilities.
It's a beautiful campus. There's some really nice amenities out there. So I hope IREC enjoys their new home. That's awesome.
We're excited to move there.
Well, that's most of the questions that I have. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our members while they're listening today?
I don't think so. I again, thank you for the opportunity. We always like to work with the industry, and we are grateful to have the relationship that we do with the Idaho Realtors, and we appreciate the time that you've given us.
Well, thank you. And, I'll be remiss if I don't include that we're going to have an awesome sit down with you here on the 15th for our Wednesday webinar. So if any of our listeners are listening to that today, hopefully they'll look forward to that and hear some more from IREC in a couple of weeks.
I am looking forward to that. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Well, MiChell, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Idaho Realtors Podcast, our association's podcast for membership, education, and outreach. Thank you to MiChell Bird for joining us for this episode. If you'd like to know more about the Idaho Real Estate Commission, please visit their website, irec.idaho.gov. Again, that's irec.idaho.gov. My name is Nick Stout, the IR Communications Director, and I was your host for this week's episode. Remember to visit our website and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider following us on your preferred podcast platform, liking on social media, and sharing it with your friends and followers. Thank you again for joining us for this week's episode, and take care until next time.